As the mom, I had to quit my job once my maternity leave was up, and it was, are you going to go back to work and leave your baby in daycare, or are you going to quit your job? And I loved my job. I was a flight attendant, and I loved that job, and I miss it very much. So it wasn't something that I did lightly or at no cost to myself. It was very hard to do, and I arrived at that decision after a lot of prayer, but realizing that as much as I loved my job, I love our daughter more, our daughters more, and that was more important than continuing to work and having somebody else raise her.
I didn't always want to stay home with my children. I was very ambitious when I was in college. We started dating in college, and I was studying to be a CPA, and I wanted to go into business and work at a Fortune 500 company, and I did do that for a very short while before we had children. And I had planned on going back to work when my daughter was born. I negotiated a long maternity leave, and my company was even going to allow me to go back to work part-time, which was a really great deal and everything, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't leave her. It's been hard sometimes. You do give up a lot. It's been hard, talking to past colleagues and seeing their success and seeing how great that they've done in work, and I've been home all of these years. But really, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Even though it's meant less money and things like that, I've been there for my children every minute, and it's really shown. It really shows in the way they are, and I don't have any regrets.
When it comes to the issue of John as the head of the family, I have to say that I am a former radical Marxist feminist. So this was an issue for me, and probably is one of the reasons why I didn't get married until I was in my 40s, because I did not see marriage as as like this wonderful thing. I saw it as a tool of the oppressor, the patriarchy to keep women oppressed. So this is a huge thing for me. When I had a conversion experience, and the Lord invited me to be, to come into the life of the Divine Trinity and to really, to have a relationship with Him, and I started to read God's Word. And one of the things in the Bible that really leapt out to me was two passages. The first one is 1 Corinthians 11:3, which says, "The head of the man is Christ, the head of a woman is her husband, and the head of Christ is God." And that's the part that really got me. The head of Christ is God. So because as a feminist I had this idea that no one's the head of me, I'm totally independent, and the equality thing is really, really important to me, but even in the Trinity, there's hierarchy. The head of Christ is God. And then it says in Ephesians that the husband should love his wife the way Christ loved the church. And how does Christ love the church? He loves the church by giving his life for her.
Well, I think that the husband, in our family, why do we have such a vibrant spiritual life? Why does it come naturally to us in so many ways? Or why are our children enthusiastic about the faith? I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I take it very seriously. And I've seen so many times in my own experience and also in things that I've studied about the faith and people's social faith lives, that if the father is enthusiastic about the faith, if he has a close relationship with God, if he's seeking holiness and willing to take on the sacrifices of a spiritual life, that will have a profound positive influence on the children and help them to stay close to God and close to the church. Mm-hmm. If the father's not interested, even if the mother's a saint, the children tend not to have a very vibrant faith life. Exactly why that is, I have maybe a guess, but I can't I can't deny that that's a fact, and it has a profound influence on people's lives.
As far as being the spiritual leader of the family, I know that my children do look to their parents, and I think especially their father, to set an example for their own faith life. And I think that just seems very natural, since we see since God has revealed himself to us as our Father, it seems natural that human children would look to their father for that example. So it's a pretty tall order to live up to, and I'm human, but I do my best in it to try to give them a good example and lead them and teach them as best I can.